So at the moment you come into the church and you're faced with these closed doors. They keep the heat in, but they're a real visual barrier. We're going to replace these with plate glass doors so people can see in and be encouraged in. You enter and you come into this relatively tight space with the backs of the central pews facing you and a very dark brown tired looking interior. The pews, there's no central aisle, we have two side aisles, so many of the brides and grooms in the past started their married life by walking down separate lanes, which is rather unfortunate. But what we want to do is remove these pews, the majority have been altered or not original, and create lots more space so that the church can be used flexibly, but also when you come in, you're greeted by much more open and welcoming space. From a practical point of view, when you come to a church, it would be nice if you had some facilities. So these will be where the toilets are. So if you had a long journey here, or even if you've just caught short, you can do the necessary, which is kind of essential, but equally, at the moment, you can't do that here. There is no toilet. You know, who's going to use a building that has no toilet? Likewise, on this side, there'll be a new welcome area with a servery so that visitors, people using the building can make themselves coffee. There are some lovely, more modern features. We have some lovely stained glass in a number of windows, which really does enhance the colour and light in the church. We're conscious of the fact that for many people, pews are a traditional feature which you expect to see in a church. In actual fact, in many of the medieval churches, they were built without pews. They were used for more general purposes. People would stand during a service. We don't expect that these days, but chairs are a kind of good compromise between having a useful space for the community and also having kind of welcome and flexibility of use. So the pews, yeah, they are a very traditional thing, but equally, they're to modern needs, they're obstruction. They mean that the building is used once a week, basically, whereas if we take them out, the building can be used for the whole week. As you come forward, you find that suddenly there's a ramp because the floor levels are inconsistent in the building. The stained glass is a wonderful feature. Also, the altar at the moment is quite impressive. Those sort of features are staying. We're going to enhance those sorts of features. But otherwise, again, this is the main focal point of the church. But the fittings, they just restrict space so much. You know, it really limits how this building can be used. So we want to basically create more space here. Removing the old vestry screening, which is basically cobbled together from various second-hand bits of timber, removing the pulpit, but moving the font to this part of the building as a focal point, basically replacing the organ with a new electronic instrument, so that can provide lots of flexibility. Also, lighting inside the church, if you look up, we've got horrible floodlights, and they produce a really nasty quality of light. We want to actually enhance the interior with new, decent lighting. New heating, we've got some fairly industrial looking fan units at the moment, which are noisy and don't really get the church up to temperature. So we're going to have a brand new heating system, which is going to be far more ecologically sound. We're using a kind of hydrogen-based system for new boilers. And there'll be new fan convectors hidden in panelling down each side of the building, so they'll be discreet, but also provide the warmth and flexibility for the use of the building. And also the panelling will reintroduce some character. We're not removing the gallery, that will be kept as a feature basically. So it will help us incorporate the toilets and the servery in a kind of discreet way. But equally it's an interesting feature. And to be honest, the pews above can be used when there's a big service, the pews will still be usable as well. So you've still got that character in the church. Because it is actually, although it's not original, it is actually a really nice feature. So there's no reason to get rid of that, it's actually quite useful.